Hey everyone, it's Cece with One Green Pea. Today I want to talk to you about the fig family. Technically, when I say fig family, what I'm talking about is the genus fig, of which the ficus plants are the ones most well known to us. Now there are over 800 different species of ficus plants, but these are some of the most common. Of course, we're all familiar with the Ficus lyrata, the fiddle leaf fig. This over here, the Ficus elastica, or the rubber tree. And then this one, the Ficus Benjamina, which is what I want to focus on today. We all know what they say about trends, right? What goes around comes around. Now, it's certainly the case for the Ficus Benjamina, or the weeping fig. It had its day in the 70s. Everybody had a weeping fig in their house. Some of them got quite tall, in fact, and were like trees with intertwined braided trunks. Well, it's coming back into favor, and I would say it's one you should definitely consider for your indoor jungle. It's very unique looking with all of these leaves, and it's really wispy and pretty. And once you get to know it, get to understand its needs, it's actually pretty easy to take care of. The weeping fig has a reputation for being a little bit temperamental, and to some extent it is. But if you can meet some very basic needs, it is actually pretty easy to take care of. So, among those, light. The weeping fig likes indirect bright light, like so many of our other tropical plants. But it doesn't want direct light. So it has really small leaves, and they have a tendency to get burnt if they are in, say, in a direct south-facing window. In my yoga room, it gets indirect light from 2 different directions, and it seems really happy. It's constantly putting out new growth lots of little babies. Temperature. So that is one thing that these plants are super finicky about. It does not want to get cold, and it doesn't like drafts. So keeping it a bit away from a window or a door for sure, especially in the winter. And just making sure that your house doesn't get too cold at night. Those are, that's gonna make it happy. Okay, so soil. A general houseplant mix will be sufficient for the weeping fig, although my favorite, as you know, is to mix in some perlite, some orchid bark, that type of thing to help make the soil a little bit more porous, because very few plants like to sit in water or to have wet roots, and that's especially the truth with the weeping fig. So as far as watering it, then make sure that you're doing the fingertip test. You're sticking your finger down at least a couple of inches and making sure the top layer of soil is dry. But I also like to use my moisture meter, because then I can really get it in there, and it gives me a good indication of what's happening down at the root level. And if it's dry, then I water it. So just definitely make sure that you're paying attention to that, not overwatering. If you overwater, the plant will let you know. The leaves will start to yellow, and they will probably start to drop. In fact, the primary way that this plant will communicate with you is leaf drop. So when I get questions like, why is my plant dropping its leaves? Well, with this plant, it could be anything. It could be too wet or too dry, too cold or too much sun, or maybe you just didn't say something nice to it when you walked past. So the plant will communicate with you in terms of its needs. So pay attention to that. Okay, so watering it, soil, light, temperature. It does like a bit of humidity, especially in the winter if you've got forced air blowing around. So I've got a small diffuser humidifier nearby to keep humidity levels in an acceptable range. Propagation. Propagation is not easy with these guys. You need to do a stem tip cutting. Personally, have never done it, so I can't really speak to that, but from what I've read, it's actually rather difficult, so I wouldn't suggest that. Repotting. So like I said, the plant is a little bit finicky. It doesn't like to be messed with, so I wouldn't advise repotting more than once a year for sure. And I would definitely wait until it was the growing season. So waiting until spring, summer, even early fall, and waiting until you can tell that the plant is root bound. So perhaps you're seeing roots from underneath, or the water is going straight through the pot and the plant doesn't seem to be absorbing any of the water. Those are also good indications that you need to repot. In the research I was doing for this video, I found that the Ficus Benjamina can be a potential allergen and can cause asthma even to people susceptible to it. So for that reason, I would avoid keeping this plant in your bedroom just because you're spending a lot of hours sleeping in your bedroom and so potentially exposed to the allergens. I have never had a problem with it, but that's just a word to the wise. So my top tip, the thing I want to leave you with the Ficus Benjamina is find its happy place. So develop your routine for caring for the weeping fig. Find the place it likes to be with the right amount of light and leave it be. And it will bless you with glorious, beautiful, wispy leaves, and it will be happy and it will continue to grow. If you have any specific questions about this plant or any of the other fig plants, then please leave a comment below. I will spend more time, do a video on the other popular ficus varieties in the future. Until then, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. I put out new plant videos every week, and it's fun to have more and more in our community. So until next time, my plant friends, keep growing.